I've been having a lot of messages. I've been experiencing a lot of it's like there's a push pull in my world. So I have paranormal activity, dark beings, and then counteracting immediately is there's the light being. So it's like I'm caught in a little bit of a tug of war between the two, and it's been difficult. So I have had a really hard time because like all of the spiritual practices and things that I would normally do don't work because it's like dealing with physical people, but just in another dimension. So it's not, you're not dealing, like, to me it's not, you're dealing with a physical being that's just maybe like one level up. So it's just a whole different experience. And I think you're right. What you just said earlier is like being open in your heart and not being afraid, just not feeding into it, like knowing that it's there, it exists, and it is attracted to people who are contactees and who are involved in this entire message. But at the same time, not like, there's been black helicopters flying over my house a lot. I've had a lot of weird stuff, and I get scared, but it doesn't fix anything. Like, you have to literally transcend it. That's, yeah. So a lot of it, yeah.
See, there's this guy who's written all these books, Philip Kindred Dick. I mean, he did some amazing stuff. It just came to him, these stories. He just basically wrote them down, like, and this one that's out now on Amazon, called the Man in the High Castle. One of it based on one of his stories. I think it's very relevant now, because the kind of map that they show on that series. Let me get back here. The kind of map they show on the series is like this, where you have, like, the story is that the World War II didn't, the Allies didn't win it, and the Nazis took over half of U.S. and the Japanese took over the other half. So I'm on the wrong side here. Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't. The pattern is there. It doesn't have to be the Nazis and the Japanese. What if it is the Zetas and the Dracos? You know, and then okay, what is happening now? This amazing stuff is happening where where they're pulling all of the Silicon Valley company. Well, not pulling. They're enticing them to go to Austin, Texas. Why? I think the Zetas have a huge influence on the West Coast. There's been tons of contacts, and the Dracos are more, like the rest of the U.S. There's a strong influence. So, I mean, this is incredible what's happening. All these, I mean, in general, they're trying to move people out of California, So I think the core of the U.S. is Draco. I mean, you got the Council of 300 and stuff. So so this is just evidence for this happening. We're on the brink of
Petra, I
that.
just want to interject. You've already planned to give a talk to us about the dark side of the graves with Mimi. We were going to book her for next Saturday, but I just want to say Mimi couldn't come today because she's moving in Mexico the last few days. She's just in flux. So we're already planning a talk with Mimi and Petra on the dark side of the graves, maybe 2 weeks from now. So we don't have to go into that right now.
I'd like to interject here just for a second. I think that what Marie and Crystal and others have been talking about, I know within each of us, we are putting the pieces of the puzzle together from our whole life and realizing that there are pieces missing, and then we find them, they show up, because now is the time they're showing up a lot. And besides that, though, I see the pieces of the puzzles being put together between the experiencers as well. In other words, nobody's experience is exactly the same. But when we get together at great groups like this, where we're talking with each other, I think that that's when pieces are being pulled together like crazy. And I think that that we're realizing, of course, that there are millions of experiencers in this world. And I really believe many, many millions, maybe everybody, we just don't all know. And the fact that we're being able to get together, not necessarily talking with the outside world so much, but within our groups, I think it's making us stronger. And it's also allowing us to get used to the fact that what we've experienced is real. It has changed our lives forever. And I
Yes.
think that this is getting us used to change, which we're definitely right at the, we've been going through change like crazy. And I think that right now it's going to be a very, very strong change. And as experiencers, we're used to change. So we're not going to be, and we're more attentive to all the differences. So it's going to be a little easier for people who are experiencers to go through this change. And I'm wondering if everybody or if anybody here feels that there's a purpose. You don't know necessarily what it is, but there's a purpose that you've gone through this, that it's going to be brought to you in soon, maybe, about what you're supposed to do with whatever knowledge they've implanted in you or gifted you with or taught you over these years. And I
Yeah,
think that Marie definitely has felt that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I concur to that. Mine was a bit more direct. I was given direct. I was given direction and about what to do, and I've been kind of just following through with it. So yeah, definitely. And it's really just to write it out into a book. She literally gave me an ISB, like get it a book, an ISBN number. Like they were really specific, and in a weird way they were specific. And so that's just the process, is just put it all into a book and get it out there. And yeah, yeah, you got it.
I would say
Which
that
kind
that
of
the
advice did you get?
primary difference between, the view of well, to me, the positive ETs and the negative ETs, like, this is an experiment. What we're doing here, it's sort of never been done on anywhere, kind of thing. We're unique. So anybody who's that's why there's, like, even Gene Roddenberry with his the information he got, and he put it in the Star Trek series. Well, there's the principle of the prime directive. You don't interfere, because it'll screw up everything. And the times, these ETs have appeared to other civilizations, they've deified them. So they're very careful. So I'm talking about the positive ETs. So it's never about you have to do something. It's all about raising our vibration, or like inspiring us. For us, it's us that create it. It's not somebody telling us what we have to do. It's weird. We have to be sovereign. We have to take control of our destiny, and it's not this destiny that's laid out. Yes, there's opportunities, different ways, but it's we that create it. Nobody's going to do it for us, and nobody's even going to tell us ultimately what the result would be, because nobody really knows. The Zetas know, because that's what they want. So there you
Mhm.
We can
Yes,
talk about that more
true.
later when we have the meeting. But I just want to mention, comment on what Lita said about change. I just finished this morning reading Richard Dolan's book, Alien Agendas. And he does talk about the change with COVID and the globalization of society. So I thought for next weekend's meetup, I would do a book report on this, plus comment where I mostly agree with Richard Dolan and parts where I disagree, and comment on things he doesn't want to discuss. So I was planning that for the next meetup next Saturday at 11 o'clock. And if Petra wants to do the following Saturday with Mimi, that's tentative for now.
But I think the biggest thing we're facing now is this reset thing that they were trying to push on us, that is going to be a further control of us, because we're going to have to give up our, I mean, for one thing, it's going to centralize the monetary system, the money system. There won't be, when you get rid of, like, cash, then they can control everything, through the computers. They can shut it off when they don't like what you're doing.
Anyway,
Done.
sure, we will have lots
Try
to
to,
do our best.
well, I mean, I don't want to look like the bad person here, because I'm sort of coming from the other side saying don't trust the Zetas. So, I mean, I try to do that too, I mean, I try to be like helping people, right? Even though it's contrary to what, a lot of people think, so.